Welcome to today's episode of Come Let Us Reason Together. I've just switched gears right now and I'm going to go a little bit religious, okay? Now, hardly a day goes by that we don't hear of any, at least one or two scandals, involving your papas, your bishops, your generals, and, all these kind of people. Such that, I've actually lost interest in what the other bloggers are saying. However, I want to posit to Nigerians that most of the leaders of the churches are actually worse than the politicians. They are worse. Forget the fetish, whatnot. That's not the topic for today. They are just worse. If they were truly serving God in spirit and in truth, Nigeria will not be where it is today. And it was comical to hear one of them saying, oh, if not for their prayers, Nigeria will be whatever he said. I'm like, no. Your involvement in corruption with government people who steal money and come to you and open the vaults for you, give you what is meant or what was meant for the Nigerian people. Your corruption knows no bounds. It knows no end. And the rate at which a lot of them actually jail people just for criticizing them, I can't remember anywhere in the Bible where Jesus Christ jailed anyone, okay? I can't remember anywhere in the Bible where Jesus Christ, had bodyguards. You remember when Judas had to come and kiss Jesus so that the Romans will recognize who he is. Now pause there. If Jesus was, arriving on, all right, not his Bentley, on a donkey, okay, or the disciples were arriving on a donkey, on their donkeys rather, and Jesus Christ was arriving on his horses with chariots and so on, clearly there's a distinction. So for the Romans not to know this rabble-rouser, such that Judas needed to go and kiss him for them to know who Jesus Christ was, shows me that there was no difference between him and the apostles. He just blended in like everybody, okay? He just blended in like everybody. So when your papas, give you excuses why they have, security, why they have this and that and that, I wondered to myself, where is Psalm 23? The Lord is my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. And some of you have been going to churches like that for decades and decades, and you've not moved past point A to point B. And yet, they deceive you into helping them to create absolute wealth that even some of the politicians that I've just mentioned can't even boast of. And the funny thing, they are assured this stolen wealth forever and ever. And when they're done, they hand it over to their kids, their wives, whoever. At least the politicians, sometimes if we get tired of them, we kick them out, okay? And they go off into the sunset, apart from Atiku, okay, and El-Rufai. We kick them. So no country progresses when the youths refuse, not that they refuse technically, okay, when there are no jobs for the youths and the pastors convince them that praying 24/7 or whatever 72 hours of prayers will magically solve your problems. No, people, okay? Jesus Christ was a carpenter, okay? Apostle Paul was a tent maker, and he stated it there in the Acts of Apostles somewhere that he didn't want to burden the people, okay? So he had a day job, and most of those apostles, some were fishermen, some were tax collectors, some were this and that. They had day jobs, okay? They didn't just sit around and start going ba 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 shaga 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 shaga. The Lord told me, you give everything that you have and I shall multiply it by 1,000. No. Everything the disciples had was for one and all. They shared it. Tell me the last time that any of your papas, had a sermon where they asked for the widows and helped them out, where they asked for the youths who have been searching for a job and helped them out. All we hear is, they fly in all these jets. Bless them. I'd love to fly in a jet. They have all these Bentleys, Rolls Royce, and yet they pay their pastors pittance, just to do their bidding. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to wise up. We need to study the Bible for ourselves. Thank you very much indeed.